So what I'll do is hold the hammer back, hold the gun like this, not flat, but actually angled so the muzzle is up and the gun is rolled to the left, and set it right there. And simply push it in, and it'll block the front of the hammer pin so that it can't come out on this route. Okay, so I'm going to now put the sear cage in. What I like to do here, this is kind of complicated, but hopefully easier to show than describe. I'm gonna hold it, like kind of do my fingers like a kind of a beak like this and put them right here. So I'm not holding the ejector, I'm just kind of right here. And simply push this in front of the hammer, down and forward. And you can see how the, whenever it focuses, the sear cage is flush with the back of the gun and it's in there nice and flat. When you get it, you'll find the spot where it goes. And when you look through the hole for the safety, you can see all the way through, minus that spring, which tells you it's time to move something. I'm gonna take that spring and I'm gonna move it right there. Take it out of the notch and put it into the groove on top that temporarily retains it out of the way. Now when I look through this hole, I see a clean path through. So again, 2-finger kind of beak grip here. Push it in, back, down. The main thing is I gotta fight the hammer spring here, and my right hand can't really help too much because it is installing the safety, which holds it in. So I'm gonna get this back just far enough to start the safety through. I'm gonna get this where it belongs and flip the safety around there. And this will take some fighting sometimes. Now what I can do is kind of roll the gun so that I can see through that hole. And in she magically went while the camera was conveniently off, so you didn't see all the cussing. Okay, there, and give it a good push, and it'll lock in. Now, the instant you get that done, take this, and we're going to move it back down into this groove where it belongs, off the notch. If it's up here, when you put the slide back on, you will bend the spring and it will scrape against the bottom of the slide. Buy spare springs because eventually you're going to do that. But if you make a habit of putting that spring down here as soon as you install the safety, it makes it much less likely that you'll forget. By the time you put the safety on and put the slide back together, then go to put it on later, you'll forget to move the spring. Do it immediately. Function tests, you can make sure that the safety deactivates the trigger at double action, in half cock, and in single action. If not, you'll need to fit the safety in the sear. And you want to make sure that your double action pull works and that your single action pull works. I'm going to drop the extractor spring back into its little notch back there and slide the extractor roughly into place. And now it gets fun. So what I've done is installed a small thin punch in from the top, and now a Glock Armorer's tool, conveniently enough, is the exact size minus a thousandth or two of the roll pin. So what I can do is slowly work the extractor around while using the little punch kind of as a pry bar. And then you're just going to take a hammer and punch and drive the Glock Armorer's tool out from the top, and that's it. Easy to say, hard to do. It's not fun. There will be cussing. To finish the slide up, spring and plunger, and I'm going to push these up into the slide, not drop them in with the slide upside down, so that I know the spring didn't fall out sideways. Turn it so that this is perpendicular to the rib down the center of the slide, like that. And attempt to slide the firing pin spring in. It'll hit it and push down, and it'll go in the rest of the way. Now this won't fall out anymore because the spring's in the way. Firing pin goes in so the notch faces down, the flat side faces the firing pin block, like so. And now I push the firing pin in with a punch and slide the cover plate on over it. With the plate all the way installed, remember these guns work opposite. The firing pin will not be blocked if the button isn't pushed. So my firing pin is coming out of the breech face right now. There. Firing pin's coming out of the breech face right now. This is obviously going to fire. If I hold the firing pin plunger in a depressed state, the pin blocks. And tuning the firing pin block, if you have an extended one, if it's required for your gun, is simply shaving material off this face and polishing it back down to affect how much lift versus release is needed for this to block the firing pin so that your gun won't have misfires because the firing pin is dragging on this plunger as it goes past it. Then the very last step is to drive the roll pin into the end extra safety. Like so. And we are done. So you can check to make sure that your safety works and that your single action, double action, everything works the way you like. And you'll notice fitted with all these fun parts, nice smooth double action, very short reset, and nice crisp single action with all the fun parts installed. The first time I built this gun, first time I put it together with all these parts, the trigger pull in double action was over 2.5 pounds heavier than it is now with the exact same parts fitted. You're going to end up in a cycle probably where you do all the polishing and fitting and replacing all the parts in one night, and you're not familiar with the gun, so it takes all night to put the parts in. You do a little bit of polishing, or you kind of polish some stuff up, kind of slick it up a little bit. You go shoot it. You put a few hundred rounds through it, and at some point you end up changing a part inside the gun. Maybe a spring, maybe a pin, maybe a Titan hammer or something. And you take the gun back apart and you see, oh, there's these wear marks in spots that I didn't polish, or places that I polished are showing wear. So you're going to polish everything up again and go shoot it some more, polish it up again. It's very common to do 2 or 3 rounds of polishing before you end up with a really, really, really smooth gun where you end up with a double action that's in the 5-pound neighborhood. I run a very heavy hammer spring, so my double action's a hair over 6, which, considering that with a spring about that weight, double action was 12 when the gun was new, I'm quite happy with that. And that's all there is to it. Enjoy your gun.